and welcome to the Powerhouse Woman Show. I'm Monica Pierre, delighted you could join us. Do you ever find yourself saying, you know what? I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know how to even live my purpose, even if I identified it. Do you find yourself sometimes playing small and letting all life's disruptions, interruptions, and disorder rule the day? Well, we're going to talk about how you can, number one, tap into that purpose and also look at your goals and your dreams in more of a long term approach. We're delighted you're joined by the fabulous, as I like to call her, Valerie Grubb. She's
Hello,
amazing.
hello. I'm delighted to be here, Monica. Hey, hi, everybody.
Yes, what a powerhouse woman you are. And I, of course, have been following you, and I had the opportunity to be on a panel with you. I said, okay, now's the time to ask. And you graciously said yes. How are you, powerhouse
Hi.
woman?
I am doing fantastic. Just getting ready for Mardi Gras and having a ball for sure.
Yes. Coming up, Tuesdays and weekends will just be ordinary weekends and Tuesdays, but in the New Orleans area, we are really rolling into the Mardi Gras season. So thank you for carving out
Exactly.
some time.
Like gear up,
I,
liver. We're
yeah,
on.
yeah,
It's your center stage.
there you go. I have often had conversations with people, Valerie, who say that yeah, we hear everybody has a purpose, but I don't know what my purpose is. What are you hearing? What is it about purpose that sometimes people they think they know it or they think they don't have it? Talk a little bit about purpose.
Yeah, I think I think a lot. I think this past 2 years, right, Monica, have really driven this home. That am I really living, or am I just existing? And I think that it's driven home that I want to have a life that I enjoy, and I think that purpose goes a long way towards that, and feeling like I am fulfilling something in myself, that I'm doing something that brings me pleasure, brings me joy, helps others. And so to me, I think there's just a lot of people really questioning, am I living a life of purpose? And if not, then I'm going to quit my job, figure out what that is, and move towards that. And I think it's an exciting time.
Oh, I totally agree. Because again, we heard so much about the Great Resignation and people doing it. Where are we now in February 2022? Because we tend as human beings to get all excited about something and then reality sets in, or we feel a little scared and don't do it. Are people still embracing the possibility of pivoting or transitioning or even getting to the point where they feel that they've transformed their lives and really doing what they want to do?
I will say this, that I can tell you that I don't think that the Great Resignation is over, because I think, to be tactical about this, I know that a lot of bonuses come out in January, February, March timeframe. And I will say that if you, as an employer, if you have not been thinking about your employees and putting them first and thinking about that, and helping them along in their journey, I think they're going to get that bonus, and they're going to roll. So I'm not exactly sure that the Great Resignation is quite over yet. But I think that people are still trying to figure it out now. And I think that, we're all smart enough as women to figure out that I need money. I need to pay rent and buy food and pay for kids' school. But I can tell you, if something better comes along, I'm gonna for the first time really take a look at that. And I think that it's the year of the employee. And as employers, if we don't recognize that, it ain't over yet. Like the bloodbath is not over yet, and we just have to be better people leaders, to help our people figure out that purpose, even if that means that, all right, your purpose is, you've sort of run your purpose here at my organization. Let me help you find what's next. But when you're ready, come on back. And it's through that you can keep the best of the best, because they know that it's not just about fulfilling stakeholders or money or whatever. So I just don't think I don't think the bloodbath is quite over yet.
That is so interesting. And as you were speaking, I was thinking, well, where are these brave souls going? or what are they doing? Are you finding, because you are a corporate trainer, you're an executive coach, so that would be right up your alley, Val, talking to people who say, you know what, I've always wanted to be X, but I did the smart thing. I did the reasonable thing. I'm hearing about this great resignation. I know I'm not going to totally starve. It may be and look a little
Yep.
bit different. What are they deciding to do?
Entrepreneurial new businesses are popping up more so than ever. I mean, it has just accelerated the amount of folks who are going out on their own and starting their own businesses. I think also that people are I'm seeing more people than I've ever seen on sabbatical. I've seen people just taking this chance of just doing things more for nonprofits, doing things that bring them much more joy, and also just really taking the time to find employers. I mean, I remember it used to be a thing where employers would ghost employees who are interviewing. Like, if you didn't get the job, let them know. Now what we're finding is that it's employees who are ghosting the companies, because I'm interviewing at multiple different places. And, if I get 1 ounce of an idea that you just kind of irritated me, I'm going somewhere else, because I got 10 companies that are interviewing me. And I think people are just being much more choosy about where they're going. And if you've got a job that seems less sexy, that you don't come across as somebody who cares about them, I think you're going to have a very difficult time in hiring and retaining talent. And we're seeing that. I mean, look at the numbers in hourly wages that are going up. That's a direct indication to try to keep people. I just saw I think it was Walmart, Starbucks, all these companies, Dunkin' Donuts, are offering free tuition. Dolly Parton just got into it. That free tuition the day you show up, if you want to go back and if you're in any of Dolly Parton's companies, Dollywood, any of those, free tuition from the day you start. And that is just trying to help employees that if your goal is not to work at Dollywood all your life, that's okay. Take classes, figure out what that is, and then move on to something else. So I just think that I think people are out there. I think just so many companies need employees, and they're just not going to put up with something that's mediocre or not a great experience.
Or not in line with their purpose, right? So as you
Yeah.
work with Powerhouse Women and you have that conversation about tapping into your purpose, and now there's more of it's the year of the employee or the year of the person who wants to take their skills and take their joy and go elsewhere. How do you begin to get that alignment or tap into that purpose with so many options that you may have?
Are you talking from the employee standpoint and
Yeah,
from a
from
personal
the
standpoint?
employee standpoint. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
I think for me, I've done a lot of career transitions. I started life as a mechanical engineer. That's my undergrad is in mechanical engineering. I worked for Rolls-Royce, and I had always wanted to be in entertainment. And I let my parents influence me and go to engineering school. It's a much more stable career. And I did it and worked at Rolls-Royce for 11 or 12 years. And I knew that I always wanted to go into entertainment. Like, I felt like there was something that it was amazing to me to go into a movie theater or watch something on TV and just be mesmerized by it. And so I figured out, I sat and said, all right, how am I going to make this leap? So that was a very clear indication for me. I knew I wanted to do it. So now it's about networking and figuring out how I can make that connection. Now, when I helped to found, and then I went out there, worked for IC, then went over to help found the Oxygen Channel. We sold that in 2007. And now it's like, all right, now what do I want to do? What's my next purpose? And I looked at, what did I want the majority of my day? What did I want the majority of my day to look like? What did I want to be doing? And I knew I wanted to be helping people. And so it's one of those things that, what do I want to do that I want to spend the majority of my day doing, but somebody's willing to pay me for? Because otherwise I just sit and glitter all day. And I know I can't do that. Nobody's going to pay me to do that. But I knew I wanted to help people. And so that really is what drove me to start my own company that focused on coaching, that did training, that did keynoting, because it's through those means that I can help elevate people and help elevate their skills. And so I think it's really, I didn't know that I wanted to be a trainer or a keynote speaker. I'm more focused on what I wanted to do in my day, and that was to help people in corporate America elevate their skills. Like, how do you make that breakthrough from director to VP? How do you make that VP to C-suite? And that I can help, and that's what felt good. And then that led me to what's going to allow me to do that somebody's going to pay me for.
Right. That's a big question someone's going to pay me for, because that's why
Right.
we're doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We want to make a living, a joyful living, doing what we want to do or even transition into.
What a powerful statement right there, Monica. A joyful living. A joyful living doing something that I want to do. And so I make money and I glitter on the side, or I do whatever, I travel on the side, because that's what I love. That's how I love to spend my free time. And by living my purpose and figuring out that I wanted to help people, what transferable skills I had that somebody would pay me for, and then figuring out how to market that and do it.
I want you to talk a little bit, because again, you have all of this entrepreneurial background, this corporate background. You're a corporate trainer, executive coach. Of course, you have your own company. You do a lot of coaching and a lot of keynote speaking. But you often talk about how it's important, particularly for employees or people who are still on the job, to know the difference between tactical and strategic thinking.
Yep.
What's the difference between tactical and strategic thinking, and how can even powerhouse women who are doing their own thing have that strategic thinking mindset?
Yeah, great question. And it's so critical. So I think of, I read somewhere that tactical thinking is doing things right. Strategic thinking is, are you doing the right things? And am I going in the right direction? So I religiously every year, every 6 months, every 3 months, ask, where do I want to be in a year? We're almost to the end of March. Have I gotten accomplished what I needed to do that's going to help me set me up for the future in a year, in 5 years, in what's next in my transition? And I think that really understanding what my goals are, and really having goals and thinking about what I want my year to be like, back to what's the purpose in a year, or what's the purpose in 5 years, then I'm making sure that I am figuring out what's inching me closer to that. And I think that that's really the strategy, is really setting that mission, that goals. Where do you want to be in, today plus a year, today plus 2 years? And what do I want my life to look like then? And then I just inch towards that. And the key is that I can't get caught up in the day-to-day doing things, doing action items, and not be going closer to what's going to help me live my new purpose. And I say this because I want to do less on the road. I want to do more personal travel. And to do that, I've got to have alternate revenue streams. So I'm writing another book. I'm coming up with online on-demand training. This is all geared so that you can still get Val. You can still get the training, the lessons, the keynoting, all of that. It's just not me live all the time, because there's only one of me. And this way I can have 100 people getting those lessons, and then I pull them together for one coaching session. And we can all get that on the same day. Right. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get closer to my purpose, which is less on the road, but yet still reach as many, if not more people. So that's my long-term strategy. And I've got to then do tactical steps every week that help me get towards that, so that in a year I don't go, doggone it, I'm not any closer to that. I'm still on the road. And so I think that there's day-to-day stuff, but the question is it all just handling day-to-day, or am I working in tactical things that are getting me towards what's next, and getting me towards my next purpose?
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Val, we're almost out of time, but I do want to, and I'm sure you've received so much. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received? I'm curious as to who gave it to you, and how have you used it, or continue to use it in your life?
Great. My father was a private pilot, which by the way sounds way more glamorous than it is. And my brother and I used to go up to the hangar where the plane was kept. And the janitor stopped me one day and told me that my dad was one of the most honorable men that he had ever met, and that he would do anything for my father. And I asked my dad about it, and he told me that he was one of the only folks who acknowledged the janitor and said hello. Jim the janitor, I still remember him, and he said, I'm one of the only people who sees him, recognizes him, and has a conversation with him. And my dad said that Jim was one of the most important people in his life, because if Jim didn't do his job, he'd take that plane out, and that plane could go down because of a loose screw or a nut or a bolt that he would suck into the engine. And my dad told me that everybody has value, and to never forget that. And excuse me, just thinking about that moment, I remember as if it was yesterday. And I can tell you that in all of my life, I truly live the fact that everybody has value. Everybody has value, no matter what they do. And I try to live my life just like my father, and that is making folks' life a little bit better for having just been around me for just a little bit. And that is certainly a very important part of who I am.
Oh, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And finally, what advice do you have for powerhouse women?
If you don't like something in your life, start today to change it. It may take a year, it may take years to make that change. So start today. And you're one day closer to moving on to something better. So there's no better day than today to start making a change if you want something different in your life.
What is the best way people can follow up and reach you, work with you? We mentioned that you are a corporate trainer, you are an executive coach, you are an author, you are a keynoter, you're just an all-around powerhouse woman. So what's the best way?
You could definitely, I publish a monthly blog. You can sign up on that. I give away lots of information on how to be a better people leader. That's at my website, which is valgrubbandassociates.com. I'm on Instagram at Val Grubb Speaker. I'm on Twitter at Val Grubb. I also have a Facebook page, and I have a LinkedIn page. So please connect with me anywhere there. And also my email and cell phone are on my website as well. So feel free to reach out. Let's connect.
This has been a powerful powerhouse episode. Thank you so much, Val. Hang on just a second. And we just thank you for being with us today. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Great. And I told you, she's amazing. Val Grubb, just a super powerhouse woman. Thank you for joining us. And I love what she said. Start today. That puts you one day closer, one step closer to living that joyful life. Thank you for being with us. And we'll talk to you next week for the Powerhouse Woman